Hi, my name is Jeff H. Sipe, and I have over 10 years of recruiting experience, including 5 years at Google. In this video, I want to talk about sales engineers and customer engineers. And we're really going to focus more generically and talk about these roles really at any company. I love these positions, and I love these positions for one main reason. They are never going to go away. Whatever turn or twist technology takes in the future, we will always need people who can translate technical terms into people who are more on the business side and just have that dual skill set of having that good collaboration interaction component and knowing how to talk about technical items. If you like my content, please like. If you have any comments, please comment below. And if you like my overall content, please subscribe. Item one, passion. In order to have success in these roles and really translate that success in the interviews, you have to be passionate and specifically passionate about not only client success, but the technology. And this is really going to show up in two facets. So, in the first facet on behavioral examples, you are going to want to strongly focus on those results. Don't back away from the results. Really tell me what you did, tell me about the initial impact, and then how you were able to leverage that impact into a larger area, whether that's process, relationships, etc. Now, on the open-ended side, your excitement's really going to show up more on the problem solving end of things. So you're really going to want to get excited about digging into the weeds, again, translating the passion for how you can come up with solutions. And those solutions don't necessarily have to always be directly correlated with the customer. It can be about doing something internally that's good for a larger customer base, customer scope, etc. Item two, technology prep. And at practiceinterviews.com, we are talking to clients about this every single day. And what we hear is recruiters at GCP, AWS, Azure, for instance, are telling candidates that they don't need to be an expert in the space. You don't need to be an expert, but the more knowledge you have in any specific technology area when interviewing for these types of roles, it is really going to yield success. And this is truly about connectivity. I want you to think about connecting with your interviewer. So if you're talking about EC2 or GCE or Azure's VMs, right? This is just going to create that good balance, that good ebb and flow with your interviewer. If you can't get into any of the specifics, your interviewer is going to have a really tough time visualizing you in the role. And I just want you to remember your competition is taking this step. They are really pushing forward. They're watching videos, they're taking courses. It's just an action that I really want you to think about. And if you think I don't have the time, maybe you need to push your interview out a little bit because building that connectivity is critical for success in these roles. Item three, communication. We are not going to get into the weeds of this subject. It's just in order to get hired for these types of roles, you need to demonstrate communication at the highest level. And two big components in your communication aren't actually about your words. It's going to be body language and pitch and tone. And so in order to demonstrate these items, again, it's correlated back to passion. I really want you to show your excitement, show your enthusiasm for your client base, and for creating those great internal processes. And so we often talk about and think about our words, but think about everything we're doing with our body and think about really the delivery, because that delivery is going to allow your interviewer to see you in the role. Item four, collaboration. This, in my opinion, is the most critical item. And again, I get really focused on this internal and external collaboration because oftentimes when we think about these roles, we have this vision and we're so customer slash client focused that we forget to talk about how we enhanced process, how we worked collaboratively internally to have success. just something I want you to pause on with both communication and collaboration. I know they're really basic topics, but if you can really identify and highlight why you're really good in both those areas, that will translate into massive success in these interviews. Item 5, goals. Okay, you guys know if you've watched any of my videos, I love talking about goals. And obviously, identifying what are the set goals that they set for you internally, and then, of course, working to identify, uncover, and ultimately solve for your customer goals is going to be critical. So, be thinking about really basic concepts that again correlate back to communication and collaboration. Be really demonstrating and highlighting and talking about listening, questioning, empathy, needs, etc. And you want to be able to talk about not only when you've been able to meet your customer needs, but when you've been able to be proactive. We don't want to just go in and be reactive. We want to be proactive for our customers because remember, in a sales engineer or customer engineer role, we know the technology better than they do. And that's a great segue into item 6, transform and evolve. And so transformation, evolution in correlation with this goal setting is going to be awesome for your success. So always be thinking about examples where you've really transformed or evolved, and more generically, how you might go about doing that specifically with a customer. So it begs the question, should we be getting back and using our GHBT RRSS framework? Because in order to evolve or transform a business, we need to know historically how they've been utilizing technology, and that could even be with a current competitor. We absolutely need to know their budget and timeline. Resourcing is critical. How are they resourced internally to take on this technology? What's the risk in talking about identifying and overcoming those risks to the business if they don't adapt and adjust to the current landscape? Obviously, size of customer, overall scope and scale, critical as well. And then key stakeholders. We always want to make sure that those key stakeholders are in the meetings. And all this is correlated also with another component, which is just competitive landscape. And competitive landscape could be actual competitors, or it could be what other people are doing in the industry and how they've leveraged that specific technology or platform. And now let's get back to that proactivity piece for a minute. Transforming and evolving your customer's business is about being able to see around a corner. And often these seeing around a corner items to talk about specific applications, to talk about features that they didn't know they needed. And this is not to push pieces of the business that you think will earn you more money or earn the company more money. It's really about, again, defining this technology and being able to share these core items to help them evolve and transform. Item 7, requirements. We all know that this is a really, really critical item for success. Requirements gathering and documentation in both roles, both sales and customer engineering roles, is going to be critical. How do we take that information, confirm it with our customer or client? How do we share it internally to make sure that everything makes sense? And understanding that those items are going to evolve. They're going to change. We're going to have features. The business, depending on whether they grow or decline or stay the same, requirements will change over time, but getting that initial piece is right. And the second part of our blueprint and the second piece that we need to get right is item 8, use cases and proof of concepts. So this is kind of where we maybe talk about a little bit more of the transition from sales to customer engineering. But we all know we have to start with requirements gathering, and then we have to really focus on the benefits of use cases and proof of concepts and be able to do two things in the interviews. Talk about when you've utilized these to your benefit, and more generically, what's the importance of a use case? What's the importance of a proof of concept? These items, coupled with requirements, will be critical components to an effective strategy and plan. Item 9, technical solutions. So this comes up for both sales and customer engineers. Sales engineers are trying to really confirm and identify up front what are the right technical solutions, and then customer engineers are really trying to implement and work with their clients to make sure that those technical solutions are right. And this is where influencing will be key. And so you're definitely going to have questions about times where you've had a little bit of a push and pull at the client or customer. Maybe the technical counterpart that you're talking with doesn't agree with your solution. So influence will be really, really important, but also you need to be able to get into the weeds of the technical solution. So whether that's GCP, AWS, Azure, whatever the technical platform, you are going to have to be able to dive in and create solutions. And so sometimes that means making assumptions, but before we make any assumptions, especially on these overarching, more broad, more generic questions, we want to be checking in with our interviewer, talking about the technologies at a higher level up front to see if they want to talk about storage, compute, networking, databases, whatever it might be. You want to check in with them and then go ahead and dive into the technical solution. And that goes right back to item 2. The more you know about the specific tech, the better you're going to do. You want to know more generically, holistically about the technology, but if you can talk about that organization specific tech, it's really going to help. The last piece would be technically solving within a particular industry. So you're going to have different solutions and a different focus for a SaaS company as opposed to a large healthcare organization, for example. Item 10, customer success. So absolutely, you're going to be wanting to talk about roadblocks and challenges that you had with the customer, but ultimately, you're trying to get to this customer success moment. Whether that's talking about the path you took, whether it's talking about the metrics, any piece. We want to really focus on customer success, and sometimes driving customer success, again, it begins internally, and then we develop something that we can externally share with our clients that's going to benefit them. This customer success piece, I want you to think of 2 or 3 really great stories of customer success, and they don't always have to be perfect, right? We can have some push and pull back and forth. I want to hear about complexity. I don't want it to be simplistic and easy. And then more broad level, high level, we're just going to really be thinking about what does success look like and how do we help customers define success. So to sum up, these are fantastic roles. Again, this skill set is never really going to go away. It is hands down the largest client base that's coming to practiceinterviews.com right now. And so, especially in the cloud space, there's a huge push for these types of positions. But just overall, it's a unique skill set. If you can translate the technical and really communicate and collaborate strongly, you're going to have a fantastic career and have great opportunities for growth. Good luck.